Well, we made it. It's election day. So, welcome to ATI Pro Media. It is Tuesday, November 5th. And here's your reminder to get out and vote. Or are you one of the 80 some million Americans that voted early, right? Biggest early voter turnout in history. We will see, or maybe we won't, right? Maybe it's go back to Bush Gore. We won't have these results till about mid December. Time will tell, and we'll keep you updated. With that, we got some other news. Harvest progressing nicely in the United States. Brazil planning progress. Heads up, they don't have a delayed planning progress problem anymore. We got to talk a little bit about ADM. Continues to have some accounting issues, and we're seeing their stock price tumble. We'll cover that and probably more. With that, let's bring in Brady Huck. Brady,
Connor,
we did it. Are you one of the 80 million that voted early?
I am. I voted early. I think I voted, was it Friday when I voted? I don't remember, but my wife and I snuck out and went and voted. It was funny because I was next to the pollster and she read her address and I said, mine's the same as hers, but they had to hear it out of my mouth as well, which I thought was kind of ironic. But did you vote early, Connor? Are you
You know what? I thought about it, but I want to do it the day of, right? When you're voting in the small town, I don't have to worry about the lines, and so something about just doing it the day of. I wanted to wait, so I'm going to vote here after this. So I'm still delayed, but we'll see where we're going. Market wise, looking at these commodities markets, pretty. I don't see a whole lot of action. We're up on corn, soybeans. Yesterday was pretty low. Low volatility. We didn't move a whole lot, but I need to stop rattling. Quote us up and let's get into the show.
Okay, yeah, let's dive into your markets, see where they're at right now. Dees corn tickling 419, up 2 cents right now. Jan beans up 3 cents, right at the $10 handle. Your wheat, Chicago wheat up 3 cents, KC wheat up 4 cents. Feeders down 40 points, fats down 17 to 20 points. Lean hogs, lean hogs down $1.40, Feb hogs down 85 cents. Crude oil up a little bit today, up 60 to 70 points. Diesel up 2.5, nat gas down a penny. Over at the macro markets, you got the Dow up 230 points, the S&P up 44, and the NASDAQ up 200 points as well. So that's kind of the snapshot of your current markets. A lot of chopping around, like you said, though, kind of a chop fest. Corn, to me, looks like it's breaking out a little bit, maybe testing the upper end of the range, but most of those other markets just inside trading days doing a whole lot of nothing right now.
Yeah, I think it's a lot of guys getting flat, trying to see where this election kind of bracing the volatility. Yesterday, I told you this, but I added up looking at my quote board going from D's 24 all the way out to D's 26. If you added up the net change, it was under 5 cents, right? Not a whole lot of movement as we close Monday. And most of that, I think, what were we up 2 cents on D's 24? So outside of that, we had a whopping 3 cent move total across all the corn market. But
God, that's worse than the week between Christmas and New Year's. That week's just a snooze fest usually too. But
yeah.
Wow.
Well, let's jump into it. Let's get flash sale out of the way. Not a big one, but guess what? We will continue to take these USDA reported private sale of 124,000 metric ton corn to unknown destinations for 24-25 marketing year. So good to see, right? We want it to continue. We want to keep going. I think we should look at a little bit. We saw export inspections.
Okay.
We should talk a little bit about that. Let's jump into it.
Yeah.
Looking at this core market, export inspections is going to tell us what's actually leaving our ports as soon as I can find it, Brady. I want to look at soybeans first because the story I think is going to be in corn. But when we look at these flash sales, you and I talk a lot about how in soybean in our export, right, we really have a window of opportunity. And as you can see, right, we are very much in the peak of that window. And we're very much following the seasonality that we saw in 22 and 23, right? Nothing out of the ordinary when we're talking soybean shipments, and very much, right, we need the soybeans. We need to see these sales. We need to see soybeans leaving because once Brazil soybeans come online, right, we really become the second destination. It really falls off quickly.
Yep. That chart, looking at that graphic and the shipments that have gone out the door, really highlights the importance of shipping September through January. That's peak U.S. demand season for beans and getting them out the door ahead of that Brazil crop. How aggressive that pace continues between now and January might be, dictated by the status of that crop down there and where they're at with planting and production and what that crop looks like to me, Connor.
Yep, absolutely. And then real quick, corn. This is where we have the story, right? We're seeing good flash sales on corn. And as you can see, there's not, we really typically continue to increase our corn exports till we get out in June, July, kind of when that safrinha corn crop comes online, but very much above the pace of previous years. And so, not to spin it negatively, but lower prices, we need to see exports tick up. It'd be nice if they tick up a whole lot higher. So let's keep that right. We want to keep that progress and stay above that average. Maybe get
Keep it coming.
significantly higher. Keep it coming. Absolutely.
And have a long tail. If the safrinha crop gets in trouble, that long tail in June, July timeframe, that'd be nice to see too. Front load them up there, stay ahead of pace, and then let's have a great long tail as we get past the that May timeframe. That'd be fantastic.
Absolutely.
It's a long ways from now, though, Connor.
Yeah, we will see. We got a long way to go, right? We're talking safrinha corn crop. We got to talk Brazil soybeans first, but before that, let's talk ADM. Okay, 3-4, maybe it's longer than that. I lose track of time. About 4 to 6 months ago, we saw trouble with ADM accounting malpractice, misreporting, potential for fraud was thrown out. We saw their CFO get fired, and that stock price tumbled significantly in one day. Well, it looks like that story is not quite over. We see the stock slide an additional 10% on potential accounting errors, and so continue lower. And then on top of that, I think we saw ADM miss earnings too. So not a good start on the year. I don't know what they're down, but significant. Not a great 2024 for ADM.
Yeah. Some of the headlines and some of the articles that caught my eye was, the general environment in ag with grain prices where they're at, the capacity, getting stuff out the door and move, just weighing on the industry. But yeah, anytime you have problems in an accounting department, that's a little troublesome, a little concerning.
Yeah, absolutely. So here's the ADM shares fell 7% pre-market on Tuesday after the global grains merchant cut its adjusted annual profit forecast and said it would amend its previous financial statements after finding additional accounting irregularities. So
I don't like that sentence in that detail. That's not a good thing in my mind, but oh gosh.
Yeah, but yeah, we'll see. Yeah, thank you for that, Tommy.
Saving the squirrels. Yeah, we got to save the squirrels.
Good stuff.
This might be National Save Your Squirrel Day in a couple years. We could declare it Save the Squirrels Day down the road, but I always love looking at those national days.
Oh, man. Well, let's keep it going. What else we got? Let's talk a little harvest progress in the United States. Boy, we got this crop all but wrapped up, Brady. Corn harvest 91%. We got that last 9-10%. Decent progress, I think. Good for this time of year. 10% jump. Last year we were 75%, so we got this crop out very well. Soybeans, to me, continues to be the story. 94% this week, 89% versus an 85% average, significantly above that 5-year average. And so also, I don't know about Kansas, but we are seeing a ton of rain in central Illinois, and I think a swath through a little bit Iowa, but Missouri up through Indiana. And so to me, it begs the question, what a great window of opportunity for harvest in the Corn Belt, right? I don't know if central Illinois saw any rain through the month of October. Now we're getting, we got to be in that 3-4 inch range, Brady. But what a window for harvest.
Yeah, it just seems like the weather patterns and those they just change on a dime. You go from really dry and a big long dry extended window, and then we'll flip back and maybe have a period of wet, but much needed if you can recharge the subsoil moisture and timing of it all. That's great. Here in Kansas, it does look like we got some friendly rainfall starting Wednesday for a while, which will be very much welcome here for wheat country, and then building those. And like you said before, last week, I think we talked about the gas and putting gas on, doing some fall field work, getting a little better soil moisture condition to do some of that work, be a great thing for American ag.
Definitely. We need the temperature to drop a little bit too for that. But here's just 24-hour estimated precipitation. You can see I'm in that red in central Illinois. So just a ton of rain is getting dumped, and I think it's going to continue throughout the day.
Gosh. Well, share some of the love, Connor. Send it this way. We'll take some of that. When you
Will
get
do.
top, send it over here. We have to have you guys get wet before we get real wet either, too. That's usually the thing.
We'll get to that question a little bit, Joe. I want to talk a little bit Brazil planting progress. This time of year. I like talking about it. We can talk harvest progress in the United States, and then we just flip to that first corn crop planting progress. But the real story is going to be this Brazil soybean planting progress. And so I think it's safe to say the story about late planting, market rally, because we're not going to get the soybeans in. We can go ahead and cancel that one, Brady. 53% of soybeans are planted in Brazil versus 38% last week. We are officially above last year of 48%. A huge run up, a ton of soybeans planted in the past week in Brazil.
Yeah, that's good to see for the safrinha corn crop that's going to follow that after we get those beans out of the field. So good to see them catch up there. If you're a grain bull, though, maybe you were hoping for a problem and a bigger problem.
Yeah, but just looking at, I reached out to Cesar Cruz, just looking. He sent me some stuff about Mato Grosso region. Right, they're officially above the 5-year average in soybean planting progress. So a month ago, right, the story was, are they going to get it planted? Or we were significantly above or below. They caught up very quickly, and now officially we're above that 5-year average. So. When we talk planning delays, I think whether it's United States or in South America, let's keep it in mind, right? Let's keep our heads on. And if we're banking on a rally because we see some type of delayed planning, maybe we should temper our expectations. If I've learned anything in 2024, I think that's it, Brady.
Yeah, but I like what you said there. If your marketing plan, I think you alluded to this before the show, and I don't know if you've said it before, but if your marketing plan depends on a problem in South America or something changing in the polls today at the ballot box, probably not a marketing plan. That's stolen straight from Connor B.
Straight from the source. Yeah, exactly. You spoiler alert, you don't have a marketing plan if that's what you're banking on. But and so time will tell, right? Just because the planting progress is picking up, they still got to grow the crop, right? But right now it looks like they have very favorable conditions. Planting progress, I think, is going to continue to be at least average, maybe even better across Brazil. But time will tell. So making great progress in Brazil soybean planting. I didn't pop it up. First corn planting progress, same story, right? They're above trend. They're getting that first corn crop planted. We just don't pay much attention to it because it's really that second corn crop. That's their main exportable corn crop. That's the one that we pay attention to and the one that really affects our markets. But they are planting that first corn crop too.
Mm-hmm. If you're looking for some weather problems out there, though, that maybe the Argentina or southern Brazil, Russia, Australia, those are there's some pockets of problems out there. So don't want to underplay that by any means. But that heart of Brazil corn production, bean production, it seems like it's that has, like you said, been canceled.
Yeah,
problems
absolutely.
There.
Well, with that, let's go ahead and get to questions. Unless you got anything else, we'll see. I think it's gonna be a ride with this election, Brady. Last election, I think they called it. Was it early the next day? No, it was later than that. It was 4 or 5 days before it was officially called. Right. I go back to Bush Gore was the one that went into December. Time will tell. We might not. We might do this show tomorrow at 9 a.m. and still be debating.
Not know. Yeah, if I was to put my vote in one camp, I think we're going to have more questions than answers in the morning, and there's going to be contested type situation. That's my guess. I'm so excited to see the markets move overnight and then tomorrow to see what happens and the reaction. Gosh, it seems like we've been asleep at the wheel here, and we've got this low volatility chop fest, and this thing's going to move one way or another, Connor. And I think the time's coming here, but it'll be interesting. 24 hours, 48 hours. I'm excited, Connor.
Yeah. Let's get the questions up.
Okay.
Went to a wedding in Northwest Iowa this past weekend. Surprised at how many piles of corn at every elevator and bag after bag of corn at the farmyards in North Central Iowa. So, and then he goes on to say, yeah, it surprises me corn's above $4.
Yeah. Yeah, he posted this yesterday, and unfortunately, we closed the show right before we got to that comment. But yeah, I think there's some grain out there, and it's great we're seeing those flash sales to get it out the door. We need some help on the river to keep those river levels where they're at, and we can get the crop moved. But it's there's a lot of grain out there.
It's safe to say, right, if you're going to be a market bull, it's not because it's not going to be a supply issue, right? We got a USDA report Friday. Maybe they adjust it a little bit lower, but guess what? We've got a record corn crop. I went to the Illinois game in Champaign, about an hour and a half from me, and I saw the same thing, Russ, right? More bags than I'd seen, probably going back to like 2018, 2019, bags on the ground. Every elevator, if they had a ground pile, it was completely full. Right, we know where the supply is. So if we're going to be a grain bull, it's got to be on this demand story. I think, right? Maybe we could get a surprise and they drop yield, or it could always happen. I don't want to put that, but it's we know it's a record crop.
Yeah. And some outside force, like inflation 3.0 or an energy market surge, we go to $100 crude versus $30 crude. That changes the, what should corn be priced and all the relative commodities with that. So, any other comments we got out there? Thank you, Joe Rogan. Joe Rogan's podcast, they've been on a tear. He's interviewed a number of high-profile people the last week. It's been interesting to watch that whole deal. And the media, traditional media versus podcast media and these live streams, and I don't know. I enjoy the live stream aspect of it, Connor. You just feel like you get to know the person. It's a deeper dive. It's unfiltered, unscripted. I love that part of it, and can't consume enough of those type of deals.
I love it too. It's amazing how much media has changed the past four. Let's go back to the previous election, right? We're seeing, so let alone Joe Rogan, right? Biggest podcast in the world. Think of these other podcasts we've seen Trump on. I think we've seen Kamala on some too, where it's truly amazing. So with that, any closing thoughts, Brady? I'll go ahead and wrap it up.
Now let's move on. Hang on to your hats, boys. It's going to be a fun day.
Yep. Don't forget to vote. Everyone have a good one.
See you.
Thanks for joining us. We're here every day, 9 a.m. Central. Don't forget to like and subscribe. We'll see you next time.